Thank you everyone for your patience. We will be starting with our next session now. I would like to give everyone a reminder that all the live sessions will be in the Zoom link. So please don't leave. We will have around 5 or 10 minutes between each session. Yeah, you can just stay in the same link. So next up, you'll be hearing from Siam Commercial Bank, more often known as SCB. SCB was established in 1907 as the first Thai bank. During its more than 100 years in business, the bank has played a leading role in providing financial services in Thailand, developing deep expertise in the industry.
Hmm.
Their services are backed by their extensive banking network and continual pursuit of technological innovation. Now that we've learned more about their company, I am extremely excited to introduce you to Khun Rame Sasira Ponchai, Principal Data Scientist and Co-Head of Data Analytics at SCB. He has led the initiative on credit underwriting by using advanced analytics to enhance and digitize credit products. There will be a 5-minute Q&A session after this presentation, so feel free to send your questions once again in the Q&A feature below. And please don't send your questions in the chat box as we might not get to it. We will now have a SCB representative introduce the company for everyone. Thank you.
All right. Can everyone hear me well? I guess you are. So, hello everyone. Greetings from Thailand. Thank you for coming to SCB session. This is Pikwan from SCB Siam Commercial Bank. As our MC has told you, we are the first bank ever established in the land of Siam. And you know what? In just 1 week or in 7 days, it's going to be our 117th birthday. So yes, SCB has been with Thailand for more than a century already. And in these 100 years, of course, things have been changing so fast. Social, economics, and also technology as well, right? So 100 years ago, no one talks about big data, machine learning, or AI, but nowadays it has become a big part of our daily life and of course become a vital part of banking industry as well. So yeah, the bank from 100 years ago and the bank today is not the same anymore. Remember this word, we are different, all right? We are different. So I bring you today one of the hottest teams of SCB, data analytics, Pyramid or Piken, our principal data scientist at SCB is going to talk about providing values to customers and communities through data. So anyone who is looking for a cool company to work with or to do intern with in the future, you must not miss this session. So please stay tuned until the end. And before we meet Pyramid or Piken, you must know what SCB and SCBX is. So if you are ready, let's go, Naka. Okay, so look at this picture. So I have received many questions from many students and also my family and even my friends, like what are the differences between SCBX and SCB? Like this SCB changed its name. So the answer is no, but it can be confusing. So I summarized to you 3 points. You just remember these 3 points and then you can just go talk to anyone, all right? So number one, SCBX is the mothership of SCB. It was established to look over SCB and other businesses in the group. And number two, why do we need SCBX, right? So the answer is to accelerate the growth of the subsidiaries of SCBX. So our core business is SCB, the bank, all right? We are here like for 100 years. But however, in these few years, we have seen many business opportunities, whether it is the food delivery, Robinhood, you know that, and also like venture capital, technology, cryptocurrency, and etc. So many projects have been initiated, executed, and also succeeded under the bank, under SCB. So the growth of these companies were limited because the bank must comply with many regulations and law. So we establish SCBX and then move these companies or these projects under SCBX so that the management process become easier. And the last point, we have 12 subsidiaries under SCBX, including SCB. So after this session, if you want to like check it more, maybe you can go to scbx.com and look for more information. All right, and now we are going to zoom in SCB, and we are going to welcome Piken on the stage. All right, thank you. Let's meet Piken นะคะ
Hello สวัสดีครับ Um, welcome to our talk today. So topic of today's discussion it will be mainly on how we use data to provide value to customers and to communities. So I am pretty sure you've all experienced or you have used or have seen someone use the SCB Easy app. And there's a lot of work that we put into SCB Easy, both in the front end and behind the scene, meaning that there's a lot of things that we did. Some of them might be felt by the customer, some may not. So I'll talk into details today about how the work we put in has been adding value, has been creating value to you guys as customer and as future prospect employees. So before we begin, so what is SCB Data Analytics? So I'm the co-head of SCB Data Analytics. But when I said data analytics, it doesn't mean we only have a bunch of data scientists, right? Um, a we have a consolidated teams that focuses on using data and analytics to deliver meaningful AI applications. What I mean by delivering meaningful AI applications. So when we talk about data science, what we mostly mention about is how do we build predictive models, and that is partially correct. But in the overall picture of delivering value, it means we don't just build models, we don't just clean data, we don't just deliver business insights. What we have to do is we have to build applications that can touch and reach into the value that it creates to the customer. So in order to fulfill this, we need to build a team that consists of both data scientists, machine learning engineers, project managers, business analysts, and even QAs, so that we can ensure that everything that we build, models that we build, predictive models that we build, are put to actual use, is put into actual application that benefits you all. And as part of this vision, it also aligns with the overall SCB vision of being a digital bank with human touch. What this means is we're not replacing everything with digital. We're not replacing all the engagement with SCB and the customer on digital platform. We want to build the most seamless experience that combines the benefit of digital with the services and with the benefit of still having human deal with the customer and to have the best experience for the customer. So the vision of being data first, AI first, will complement with the vision of being a digital bank with human touch. Now, moving on. So how has data changed since COVID? Why do I talk about this? Because actually, COVID is for many people it's a hassle in life, but for us it actually propagates and it accelerates the adoption of digital very significantly. Because before COVID we have SCB Easy, but we can notice that the adoption of SCB Easy, the adoption of digital transaction it hasn't propelled to the point that we felt right now. So since COVID, this means from about the um, early 2020 to the end of 2022, we have noticed that the SCB Easy user has increased by 60% from about 10 million to about 16 million. transaction on the digital channel, including SCB Easy, has almost quadrupled to about I think 5 billion transaction a year. So that means about 2.5 times the number of transaction per customer, which has reached is about 300 transaction per year per customer, meaning that to us we some of us, especially younger people, we felt that this number is still a bit low because for myself I probably make at least 2 transactions a day. So we're reaching a point where most of the transactions is done digitally. And last but not least, digital product adoption has increased by 90%. So some of the lending products, some of the product that had used to only been serviceable by branch is now done digitally, and most of the customers has adopted it and has been pretty good, give a pretty good feedback on the convenience of what it provides. So the benefit of this is that for us, we have much more access to data. We have much more access and understanding to customers' behavior because of their transaction on the digital channel, which is good for us because we're a data team, right? We utilize all these data to provide value. There's also downsides to it because the cost of maintaining these volume of data, the cost of processing these data, the infrastructure required to process these data would also have to be scalable. And the way we use this data, the way we code our programs, the way we deploy our applications would need to put more emphasis on the efficiency of how we use the data. So that also poses a challenge for us. So what we mean by bringing value to the customer is, and there's a lot of aspect to this. Since you guys are a bit young and lending may not be a huge part of your life right now, um, let- I'll just try to imagine what the world is like before this, right? Let's say in the past when you wanna get lending, the probably the easiest way is you go to the branch, fill in a form, submit a file of application of documents, wait a month, and then you get rejected most of the time, which means you wasted a week, a lot of effort, which doesn't make sense, right? Because we have all your information. We can assess your credit scores. We see your transaction. We see how you receive money. We can actually assess your income. Um, and since we have all these information, we barely actually need your any of your document. So with access and with the analytics behind all of this, the analytics behind performing an effective credit scoring method, the way of assessing the income of the customer's income, what we can do is if a customer applies for lending on SCB Easy, you will get an instant approval. By instant, I mean about 15 seconds. Um, the approval rate has also doubled because of the more efficient credit scoring model, the more convenience in income assessment. We had actually been able to approve double of what we used to in the past, and we've also been able to reduce the default rate or the rate of missed payment of the customer by 30%, meaning that active to the bank, we have a more optimal portfolio. We have a better performing portfolio. And to the customer, they get approved more easily. They get better interest rates, and they don't have to submit any document and get approval in 15 seconds. So behind all of this is a very effective and efficient ways of providing and manufacturing underwriting to lending customers. Second of all, on the other side of this is when we apply these analytics to businesses. What this means is for small businesses that drives the economy of Thailand. I can say for sure that young businesses, SMEs, startups are the backbone of Thailand's economy. And what we're trying to do is When these companies needed to grow, they first need access to lending or to kind of funding. And in the past, similarly, it takes about a week and even thicker file of documents to apply for lending. And most of the time, we need you to have at least about 3 or 4 years of financial statement, which doesn't make sense for young businesses. So what we can do now is we have a we have an ecosystem of supply chain that we can observe through all the financial transactions in SCB. We know who you're trading with. We know what kind of business you're doing. We know your growth. We know your seasonality. And a lot of times we can kind of reconstruct or replicate your actual financial statements without having to wait for you to file one to the revenue department. And most of these would have specific industry risk factors, meaning that we understand what's the risk of your business, and how do we put together all of this information to offer the best lending to you. That means if you're a young businesses that you just opened for 6 months or a year, you can now apply for lending to SCB. It will also grant instant approval, and you will also get better rates. We will provide insights for you on what kind of product, what kind of financial product, or even business cash management products that are suitable for your business so that you can be more convenient managing your cash flow, as well as managing your funding. And it synergizes the business as a whole because all the supply chains are connected, and it indirectly it grows and it synergizes the business ecosystem of Thailand basically. Yep. Um, Next, I think this might be more relevant to you. As SCB customer has been using SCB, I run into this issue a lot because even for myself, I don't know what I'm spending on. Uh, um, I don't know how much I'm spending on food. I don't know how much I'm spending on games. I don't know how much I'm spending for entertainment. And we want to package and teach customers to manage their personal finances. We have an application short just for you. It's embedded in SB Easy. It should tell you how much you're spending, how much you're receiving each month, and how do you budget your finances more effectively. Similarly, on the wealth side, we have on the right screen, we have this application called Wealth for You. What it does is basically it recommends you what kind of mutual fund should you invest in, given your risk appetite? What kind of fund you should invest in if you want to diversify your portfolio? What kind of mutual funds you should explore that would help increase your returns? All of these can be done, and also conveniently you can buy these mutual funds on SCB Easy. And last but not least are insurances. Um, you can also buy insurance on SVEZ as well, and we do have an engine to make all these recommendations. So what this does is it allows you to understand your finances better, and it also better tells you and suggests you what kind of actions you should do on the budgeting side or on the investment side that would help you increase your wealth and maintain your wealth in the future. And last but not least, talking about the technology side. We've had Envision SCB Connect or the SCB Online that we wanted it to be an alternative to an engagement channel instead of just call center or branch. We built a pretty sophisticated chatbot on the SCB Connect platform. You can talk to it. You can ask for account information. You can ask for product information. There's even a small talk option where if you are lonely, you can talk to the money chatbot on Line Connect as well. And very interestingly, we had just deployed a new mutual fund inquiry module, which means if you want to talk about mutual funds, you want to know the rate of return, you want to know what kind of fund you should be investing in. You can, instead of going to Wealth for You platform, you can also ask directly into SCB Connect, and it'll be able to answer it very, very accurately, actually. So all of this, it allows us as SCB to have a bidirectional communication with the customer. In the past, you would only talk to us when you have an issue or when you're looking for new products. But now, with the more effectiveness of the SCB Connect platform, it acts as a way that we can communicate between SCB and its customer more effectively, and vice versa. So, as I mentioned, the data analytics team as a team in SCB, but actually what we're doing is we're building we're under an organization called Digital Banking. What it does is it delivers an end-to-end solution on all the digital needs of the customer, and it organizes the relevant teams so that we can work together and more effectively deliver value to the customer. So within digital banking, we have a platform team which includes SCB Easy, SCB Connect, or the partner platform. The data from the platform is stored and maintained by us into data categories, data sources like financial data, lifestyle data, engagement data. And then all the data is used in all the analytics capability, like underwriting, what I mentioned before, digital marketing. We have deep AIs, like the OCRs or the chatbot that I mentioned earlier. And then all these analytic capabilities is then put into the product, digital lending, digital payment, digital wealth. All of these products would then be put on shelf on the platform side so that we build an ecosystem of platform product data and using data to empower the product and platform. So quickly, what's the benefit of working with SCB data? Well, first one is definitely you get to work with the brightest people. We are very selective with the people we choose and bring into our team. And we have a sexy young generation of people. So I'm the co-head of the team, and I'm only 32 years old. The average age of the SCB data analytics team is 26, which means you're mainly working with young and bright people who share the same culture, the same lifestyle as probably most of you in this call. We have an established data infrastructure and tools. If you go to other banks or other companies, especially startups, you would first of all run into an issue that all the data is very segregated. You don't know which data is which. How do you access to data? You have to go to each sources. But in SCB, we have an established data lake, which means all the data in the bank is accessible in one place. It makes doing all the analytics work much easier. SCB has a flexible working style, which means it's work from anywhere, but not anytime. So, but we're pretty open to where you work and how you work as long as the output is delivered. Most of the ideas in the bank, most of the projects in data team is it's bottom up, which means you get to pursue your own ideas. You have an idea of a project that you think would benefit the customer. Myself as the head of the team, we're very open to new ideas, and we will allow you some time to pursue and experiment with your ideas. And last but not least, because we're flexible, because we're young, a lot of the evaluation is probably very result driven. We know what the objective of your work is, and as long as you can deliver the work to the objective that we've provided and the success measure that we've established, we don't put too much emphasis on how you do it, as long as the result is delivered. So our culture in the data analytics team is a bit different from the regular bank's culture, and probably very different from most of the companies that you'll be working with. So to put it all together, I talked about the value that we deliver to customer: better interest rates, instant approval, chatbot, access to young businesses, access for lending to young businesses, and meaningful recommendations to customers. But how we deliver all of this is just building the right team, building the right team that would help us build models and deliver these models to create value to the customer. That's the key success factor of our team is we have a strong team and we want to maintain the strong team so that we can continue to deliver value to the customer. All right. I think that's what I wanted to talk about today. So I'll leave some time for some Q&A.
Thank you so much. That was a super cool presentation. I learned a lot actually about SCB. I'm also using the app even though I'm like here in the US. I still make transactions to my friends when I like share my Spotify. Thank you so
Well,
much.
thank you
There's
for
quite
being
a
a
bit.
good customer.
Yeah, thank you. There's quite a bit of questions for you actually. So let's get to the first one. Will SCB provide work visas for foreign workers? And also, the students' Thai may not be professionally proficient, and how much Thai and English is used on the job.
Um, I may not be able to answer on the visa side, but we do have expat working with us in the
Mm,
past and also in other teams. So I'm sure
mhm,
there's a way to work around it.
mhm.
Probably not.
For
I don't
your
think it'll be an issue. Um, and as foreigners working in the team, so I would say half of the team graduated from abroad. So we do have a culture that even actually my team, a fun fact is we do stand up in English, just so that we force our team to get to use English once in a while. So it will probably be a good fit for us. Um, Working across team, I'll be honest, there might be some difficulties. But if
mm,
you're working among the data team, I'm sure everyone will be very accommodating. And it also provides us an opportunity to learn from people from different background and also forces us to use English as well.
Sounds great. What's the most important thing you've learned as a data scientist? And another one is what makes a successful data scientist?
Very good question. I think the most important thing I've learned is data is very broad and wide.
Mm,
We have, I'm sure it would take probably over a decade to kind of understand all the data in the bank.
mm,
Um, but the most important thing is how do we use it? What's the right application that we will use these data and provide value to the customer?
mm,
There are a lot of people who come in and gets very excited about, oh, I love this data set. I want to do something with this. The question is,
mm,
what do you do with it? And you can take it so many ways that some of the ways would probably not be beneficial to anyone. It would just be out of curiosity. But
mm.
some application or some use cases will be very valuable to the customer. And I think an answer to both questions is data is available for you. How do you use it? And picking the right application, picking the right impact of these data is what makes a very good data scientist.
So having the information, but really what do you do with it, or what part of the data do you analyze, or like why are you analyzing this data in the first place, right?
Exactly.
Um, Software engineering and data engineering, or like data sciences, have many overlapping aspects for students. How can students distinguish which career path is a better fit for them?
Hmm, that's actually very difficult to answer. Um,
Well, we can
it's
answer from like personal experience why you
right.
chose data science versus like SWE, software engineering.
Okay. So actually, my background is electrical engineering.
Mm,
I've only taken two courses in computer science.
mhm,
Um, Surprisingly, though, most of the people in our team is electrical engineering. mainly because math is a sometimes a very strong suite for electrical engineers.
Mm,
I think what's right for you is what kind of work you want to do. Because actually, data scientist, being a data scientist, the programming part itself is actually not that important for me. It's
mm,
not difficult to learn on the job. It's
mm,
what kind of what kind of application do you want to do? Do you want to build like actually coding applications, or do you want to explore um, useful models? If you
mm,
say that, okay, I want to build applications, I want it to be very functional, maybe that's
mm,
more of software engineers. But as a data scientist, you have to be more willing to experiment with models, with data, with just learning about how data is used. So
mm,
I think from my experience, I feel like a lot of people who I interviewed, they kind of know already what they wanted to do. It's just that you need the courage to just pursue it.
mhm. Sounds good. So maybe really knowing what you want to do with your like you have knowledge, but you don't trying to, talk to yourself what you like, what you don't like, and exploring.
Right.
How
There
important.
is a downside to data scientists. That a lot of times, a lot of the
Mhm,
models you try to build doesn't work, and you have to live with it. Like some problems looks easy, but when you actually
mm,
start doing it, it's not that easy. So
mm,
you have to be able to learn and adapt with that kind of experiment. But in software engineers, you kind of know exactly what you need to do, and everything is
mm,
already deliverable
mm,
if you put in the effort. So I think there's a difference in mindset in that too.
It's like software engineering, you have something you want to code and you have an end goal. But with data analysis, it's like I'm trying to see trends. I'm trying to see what I can take from the data. You don't really
Right,
know what concrete answer you get from the data set, right?
right.
How
hmm
important is a master's degree in distinguishing um, the applicant from when applying for jobs within the field of data science?
Oh, I think this is a common misconception because in the past, like most of the data science jobs requires a master or even a PhD.
Mm-hmm.
I used to have that. I used to have that perspective too. Until recently, that well, not recent, actually a while back. I realized that I don't think it makes a huge difference.
Mm,
Well, what I mentioned before is you just need to know what you're trying to use this data for. The
mm,
model itself you can easily learn from Medium or from online courses.
mm-hmm,
So I don't think it's a huge um, even a distinguishing factor. Like you could be an undergrad and still do well in this if you know what you're trying to do. Yeah.
mm-hmm. Sounds good. Well, we don't have time in for any more questions, unfortunately, but thank you so much for being here. The presentation was amazing, and thank you so much for giving such great advice for other students as well. So thank you, Kun Ramen and SCB, for being here and having so many opportunities for us at this event. And their booth will be in Hall 1, so
Right.
please go check it out. And they will also have one-on-one sessions as well.